And we are live. What is going on, Adina? Did I say that right?
Yes, Adina. Hi, Dakota. Thank you so much for inviting me. What is going on? Well, I've been looking forward to have this interview with you
Mm-hmm.
and to share a little bit about my story. There are a few things that I did send you, but obviously, whatever you write and when you talk, some other things come up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be very, very interesting that we discussed before, like 2 minutes ago. It's going to be very interesting how the flow of the discussion will go.
I feel
Yes,
that.
I'm
Every,
excited.
I'm excited too because I want it to go differently. I feel like every time I do interviews, we always have like a 20-minute conversation right before about something completely different. I'm like, this could have been an interview in itself, and it would have been like amazing. Like,
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
a little bit. All right. So tell us about who you are and what do you specialize in?
Yes, so I'm Adina. I'm originally from Romania, but I relocated to London almost 15 years ago.
Mhm.
And I am a qualified therapeutic counselor and also a business coach, a Reiki master, and recently I became a practitioner in Ho'oponopono. And I mentioned this, it's a Hawaiian mantra, Hawaiian way of
Oh,
healing, Ho'oponopono.
that sounds super duper interesting. I need you to go and we're gonna get into that.
I will, because it's a key technique that I've been using on myself and I'm using on my clients as well. Therapeutic counselor, I think in America is close to being a psychotherapist.
Yes.
Yes. All right. And how did I come to be as therapeutic counselor and a coach? I moved since I was a child. I wanted to live in London. That was my dream. And I think I
Beautiful.
was about 12 years old.
Wow.
And in Romania, when you start year 6, you study two languages. So I was already studying French, and my second language, foreign language, was English.
Mhm.
And when I heard English language, I was like, wow, it's something just hit home. I don't know how to explain it. You know, when your heart starts beating faster and you feel like at home, it was like, what is this? I want more of this in my life. So I went on, and my life was like just studying English. And I finished high school in English. And funnily enough, I think since I was that age, I was already visualizing and I was already, how to say, deciding in a sense my future, even though I had no idea about the law of attraction. In Romania, after communism, you don't know about the law of attraction. You don't know about visualization. You don't know about these things, you know. But I knew one day I will live in London, not any other city, but in London.
Wow.
So, funnily enough, after I finished high school, I was hired at a company, and they were working with England. So since I was 19, I was traveling back and forth from Romania to London and back for contracts.
Wow.
And now I fell in love with the country, with the city, with the people. And in 2007, I finally said, that's it, I'm moving there. And after I divorced, I took my son, he was 4.5 at the time, and both of us by ourselves, we went to London. And we've been living here ever since. And it's been such an amazing journey. Really, really amazing journey, because we don't realize that we have such a power inside ourselves, you know. And unless somebody is showing it to us or pinpointing it to us, we don't know how to use it.
True.
So this is part of my work, and if I assume correctly, is part of your work as well. You see the big picture, and after that, you just say like, "But here, this is what you're doing,"
Mm-hmm.
and you already do that. It's just that you focus. Here, you need a little bit of healing, or you need a little bit of tweaking, but still, you might be on the right path. If not, you just guide and you navigate through all those negative chit chat, all those limited beliefs, and you just take them on a beautiful path that they actually want in their life. And most of the time, with 99% of my clients, they always say, like, when I was a child, I was dreaming of.
Mm.
And they kind of do that, maybe they dream of being a ballerina. They don't end up a ballerina,
Right.
but they might be working in an artistical environment,
Yes.
or they might be working with maybe it's a coach and it's focusing on, again, somebody who's an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So life takes you, whatever you wanted as a child, pretty much takes you there. Maybe not a direct, but is like a, how to say, it's like a bridge.
Yeah.
Bridges are built. Whatever you were imagining as a child and dreaming as a child. And I always tell my son, no matter what you dream about, write them down. Because when you grow up, no matter what life takes you, when you grow up, you will go back.
That is amazing. It makes me feel a certain vibration inside. Like I know that is a truth for you, and I've experienced that. I feel like I'm thinking about what I'm doing right now, and I've definitely experienced that in my life. I am myself. I'm an introvert, and I help introvert coaches. But when I was younger, I didn't talk a lot. I wrote a lot of poetry. I was very quiet, and I kept to myself, and I reflected a lot, like a lot. And I feel like I've been through so many phases, but in reality, I am an artistic visual person. I was writing poetry all the time, similes and all that. And now, even though I go live like every single day, I
Some sort of,
yes, in reality, if you take the camera away and you were to look at me sitting in my room every day, talking to the camera, I'm doing the same thing that I did when I was younger. I wanted to be a poet. I wanted to be I'm a philosopher. That's how I see it.
this is exactly what you're doing.
It's exactly what I'm doing. I am a philosopher, and poetry, philosophy. You go to college, you gotta take both those classes. Like it's very in sync. I want to be a poet, and I feel like I tell poetry through my video production. Like it's crazy that you make that connection.
It is crazy when you sit down and think about it, and you actually unpack and you just take away the layers of that expectation that we always have in our mind, because we expect things to end up in a certain way, to unfold in a certain way.
Right.
And this is where I think with the law of attraction, people think it doesn't work because they've already imagined how it's going to unfold.
Right.
Like the example that you've given, you wanted to be a poet and to write poetry and to be a philosopher, and exactly this is what you're doing. It's just that you're not writing the normal poems in a book and publish them. And it's the same sort of creativity.
Right.
Right?
Packaged
So
different way. That's so crazy. I've never heard. I've that makes me just feel so. I can't even explain it, but I have not heard that anywhere before.
you see, it's about letting go. People say like let go of the outcome, and it took me years until I realized what that let go means.
Mm.
Because I used to say, if I want an income, I used to say like, yeah, but I don't get it. And one day I got really, really pissed off, and I said, okay, let me see what income comes into my bank account and also in my pocket, not necessarily through the bank.
Mhm.
And when I gathered all the streams of incomes, I actually had a little bit extra from what I wanted. Because for months I said I want the £5,000 a month. And I was like, I don't get it. No, because I didn't get it from one place. This is how my brain was working. If I had get the 5,000, I want it from one place.
Got you.
Because when we grew up, we were taught to have a job. Don't leave the job. No matter what happens there, you stay there because it feeds you. It's one stream of income. So we were not taught to have different stream of incomes.
Wow.
That was Romania, and possibly not only Romania, but I'm speaking about my country because I grew up there. I can afford to do that. Nobody can come to say like, oh, you don't know. I know because I grew up there. So this is how we were taught, you know. And coming to UK, I managed to diversify my income. But still, my mentality remained in the past, and I always complain like, I don't get it. I'm working so hard, and I don't have. But I actually had it, you know.
Wow.
So I let go of the outcome in the sense of how it's going to unfold, not necessarily the end goal, money itself, like the amount. But I let go of the way it's going to happen. And unless, as I say, you sit down and you really are honest with yourself and genuine and you write everything there, you don't realize these things because the mind is too busy to look for a different distraction, to look for a different, it's obsessed with another shiny object, or maybe have something in the past. The subconscious mind is like always trying to protect you. Don't do this, it's not safe, stay here, it's safer, and all that. But yeah, if you take the time and you quiet your mind, you do the work, you realize that actually you've attracted in your life more things that you could ever imagine and exactly what you wanted.
Wow.
Well, that go. But coming back to my Oponopono, because I'm really passionate about it. I don't know if you heard about the mantra, so to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you.
I've heard mantras before, but you're saying those specific ones for a reason?
Yes. So in Ho'oponopono, I don't know if I pronounce this properly, but it's Joe Vitale, something like that. He was featured in The Secret.
Okay.
And he wrote a book, Zero Limits. And this is how I read about Ho'oponopono. And I had my baby son in 2004. So it's almost 16 years ago. The same week I had my baby boy, my father died. Not too many people know about this because you did ask that question. My father died the same week, but because my son was sick, my father died, I had that emotional blockage. 10 years later, I was living in the UK. I had my own coaching practice. I've given up the waitressing job because I had to raise the child, and the office job didn't afford me to leave the job to pick up my son from school in case he's sick. So I was working as a waitress for a few years while studying. I gave up that waitressing job. I was a confidence coach, and I had a dog incident. A dog bit me back home, and I got the vaccination. And I started having panic attacks, and nobody knew why. And when I said here in the UK, Public Health of England got involved because I couldn't recover. They said, maybe you have rabies. And I was like, I can't die. I have a son.
Wow.
To cut it short, it was side effects from the vaccination. So the moment the vaccination, the chemicals got into my brain, the postnatal depression that I got triggered when my father died just unleashed. So that took time in about less than a month. I was heavily depressed. I mean, I was all this bubbly person, working as a confidence coach, living the dream, having my own business, working from home, raising my son. No more problem. You know, that £5,000 a month was coming, yeah?
The dream, the vision.
In like less than a month, I was heavily depressed and suicidal.
Wow.
And I didn't know why. I had no idea for a couple of months why. It was the postnatal depression. The chemicals got to the brain, the postnatal depression just unleashed after 10 years. Luckily for me, I was already training as a therapist, and I was in personal therapy. So with the help of my therapist, I got to the bottom of the things, realizing that it's postnatal depression. I did not, I
Uh,
didn't know I have it. I should have suspected because it was a shock. My father died unexpectedly. He was not sick, or he just died. But I didn't expect it to stay 10 years there. But because I went through divorce, my son was sick and all that, I didn't have the time to deal with my emotions and feelings, and it just stayed hidden in the subconscious mind. And when it unleashed, boom. So
Sorry to hear about that.
I started praying, and I remembered about the secret.
Hmm.
And this gentleman, Joe Vitale, was a person who, I don't know, was something in his voice. I don't think he's written the book at that time. He wrote it a little bit later, but it was at the time where I went through my depression in 2014. And the book was called Zero Limits, and I read it. And there, he based the book on this Ho'oponopono. It's the story of a psychiatrist from Hawaii, and he was working at a unit in a hospital where all these crazy people, murderers, and so on were. He had to treat them. And he said that he didn't treat the person, he treated the emotions that he had inside himself. Whatever the emotions these people brought into him, he was healing them. So I said to myself, I can do that. I mean, I have no idea why I'm depressed. I have no idea why I'm suicidal. I have no idea why I want to kill myself. I have no idea why I want to harm my son. But I can heal this because I can say I'm sorry. And I every single day I was like, I'm sorry, Adina, for having these thoughts. Please forgive me for putting your mind and your soul, because I was crying and all that, to go through this. Thank you. Thank you for being wonderful. Thank you for having a wonderful life. Thank you for being a great mom until now. So I started this healing process. Honestly, every single day I was saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And
Mm.
that's love. Like, I love you, Adina, no matter what you go through. I know you have these thoughts. I acknowledge them. I know they are hard. I know they are scary, but I forgive you. So I was thinking to myself, I was actually, I don't know, forgiving my mind. My soul was forgiving my mind. You know, I forgave everything there. I have two divorces. I forgave both my ex-husbands. I forgave myself for allowing those divorces or whatever happened there, because it's the side of the story always. I forgave everything that happened. I don't know, my son's illness, my father's death, my mom being away, me being like, everything in my life. I started forgiving, and saying thank you, and I love you, and I'm sorry for, you know. And I think after about 2 months, I didn't want to kill myself anymore. But it did take me about a year and a half to recover from all the depression, because I remained with that fear, like, what if I do something and I'm unaware, and after that I wake up, but it's already done, you know. That because the doctor said in rape is to be aggressive and you don't remember what you're doing. Anyway, you die, but you might be doing something because it could be aggressive. And I think that stuck with my, in my mind, and I was terrified. Like, what if I do something?
Yeah.
And after that, I can remember next day, or I cannot not remember, but the thing is done. And that was kind of some mild form, very easy form of PTSD. So I recognize that, and I acknowledge that through therapy. That's why I'm so passionate about helping women with postnatal depression, because I was there, and I know how it is, and it can happen to anyone, no matter at what stage you are in life. Because people expect to be depressed only if they go through, I don't know, domestic abuse or sexual abuse, or I don't know. It can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter how much you earn, it doesn't matter the culture, it doesn't matter the background, it doesn't matter the location, it does not matter. If it's there, you have to deal with it. And you can. It's just that with the right support. So that's why I'm passionate about Ho'oponopono. And this is Ho'oponopono. So yeah.
That's just an amazing story. It's really inspiring to me because it resonates with things I'm actually going through right now that I don't talk about on camera, but that's amazing.
Well, I learned to be confident talking about this. Um, since I recovered, so in 2014 was the incident, it took me about a year and a bit. In 2016, um, I restarted my coaching business because I was strong enough to hold the client, safely, me and the client safely.
Right.
And in 2018, so almost 3 years ago, I qualified as a therapeutic counselor. And I was working as a construction site manager. I've always worked in a male environment, but I've given that up because now I have my own practice. I have the online business as coach, and I have the private practice as a counselor. I'm seeing clients face to face as well, my own office, and it's like a center. So that happens from 2016 to 2019. So it's like 3 years. And if for me it's possible being a single mom in the UK, now my son is big, but he was like 4.5 when I brought him here.
Right.
Anybody can do it, We don't have to be stubborn and to stop ourselves in our stubbornness that we can't do things just because of I don't know what. I don't believe that anymore. I really don't believe that anymore. And that's why I speak so openly about this. And ever since, every year I have a topic of the year. So 2016 was the healing year. 2017 towards 2018 was the public speaking year. So every single month I had public speaking, and I've been to Holland, I've been to Romania, I've been to Scotland, in the UK, lots of places. So every single month, I was going somewhere, and most of the places I took my mom with me because I called her when I was sick, and she dropped everything back home and she came to help me. And for me, it's like the best mom ever, and she deserves to see the world. So I'm traveling with her when I'm traveling.
Beautiful.
Last year was no, this year 2019 was visibility year, so I had lots of lives and
Wow.
authenticity. So speaking about depression, speaking about my divorces, speaking about these things, and I was so blessed because of this visibility to have an interview with the local television back home in November, which was absolutely amazing to go home and to speak about these things. So that was great. And next year is about helping people to create legacies. And I've already started the project in September, the Legacy Creation series, where I just invite people to speak about the legacy that they intend to leave. Because I don't know how it's in America, how you guys are raised and the mentality there, but in Romania, we were raised as legacy to leave a house, to leave a car, to leave, these material possessions.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came in the UK and I saw it's not quite like that, the two parts in me, had a little bit of a struggle. And I realized that actually I don't want to leave material possessions even to my son. I want to live for him to be a good man, to follow his dream, to stay true to himself, to a very hot topic here in the UK and in Romania as well is about transgender kids. My son is not transgender, but I know I would be so supportive if he were. You know, so in that sense, I encourage him to be whatever he wants to be. So whatever it is, it is. I'm there for him. And this is part of the war that I don't really speak about, but here in the UK, I'm involved with parents who have transgender kids, and they are as young as 4. So
Gotcha.
yeah, That is another thing that I'm doing here in the UK, because we have to be open to however the world evolves, and we don't have to see evil everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
because we speak about equality, we speak about acceptance, we only speak about it, but I want to live it. I don't want to just speak about this. I want to actually live. I want to actually be involved somehow. I don't have to be transgender to be involved, to support that, to accept it, not just talking. You
Right.
know, so that is 2020 for me.
Wow.
Another year, another year, another day. It's coming. So yeah, that's me, and this is what I'm doing, and this is my life, to be honest. Part of.
Wow.
I see you're a little bit quiet.
I'm
Very
listening.
reflective, not prepared.
Just listening. It's like amazing how like a lot of things you're saying is like it's going on in my life, and it's just giving me peace at mind talking to you because I do something similar where I write out. I plan a few years ahead what I want to do in this year, and when you said that you have a legacy year where you've been just going live, I'm kind of going through that right now, and then I remember that I wrote down in one of the upcoming years that I want like to create a new ecosystem of network, like create my own ecosystem of people in my circle. And I'm realizing me going live, connecting and growing my audience is a part of that. Like not only is it online but offline, I'm building networks like in different ways. And I'm realizing that it's preparing me for that specific year.
Oh yes. Oh yes. It's always. Um, Again, what I said at the beginning is about the letting go, because sometimes we have the time frame and we are so stressed to achieve, but we forget to recognize and to celebrate all the changes that go on inside ourselves. Because in therapy, and even with my coaching, I work like that. Whenever is a shift in the client, I always ask for a pause. Just adjust yourself where you are. Adjust yourself with your way of thinking, with how you interact with your family, how they interact with you, because when you change, they change. Because you don't have the same responses, you don't have the same reactions, don't have the same interactions. So
Mm-hmm.
you adjust yourself there. Because I see many people, they reach a certain level of success and they lose their families. And it's such a shame. It is such a shame, just because they don't communicate. They don't take the pause. They just going on and on and on and on. And I always say, like, okay, we've worked until now. Let's take a few weeks break, or just do something easy in the sessions, like some logistics, you know,
Yeah.
if they want to continue. If not, I actually stop the therapy. And when they are ready, when they have adjusted, we take it back and we move on to the next level. And then again, just take a pause. Because I had oh my god, yesterday I had a conversation with my client, and he was like, yeah, but I'm getting so stressed. And I said, yes, but how do you quiet your mind? He was like, I'm rationalizing. I said, that isn't thinking. I don't want you to think. I keep telling him, don't think. I want you to have 5 minutes where you don't think.
Right.
Yes, but I'm thinking it was good, I don't know when. Don't think of that. Just say, like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Leave the other thoughts aside. Just, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. He goes through a stressful situation, but he's always like, I'm quieting my mind, but I'm thinking of something happy. After that, he remembers. After happiness, something bad comes. So his mind is always like, don't think of that. Just talk. That is not quieting your mind. Quieting your mind, in my point of view, think only one thought. No matter what else comes to your mind, reject that. So, for example, if I want to think now, I'm fine. Other thoughts come to my mind, but I say, thank you, I'm fine. No matter what comes, think I'm fine. And it's hard. And sometimes you feel like crying. And sometimes you have headache. But if you train yourself like that, you actually manage to quiet your mind. And all you have in your mind is I'm fine, or I'm light, or I don't know, whatever works. So yeah.
Feel like I am the opposite of that, actually, because I
Like
feel
what do
like
you opposite?
I'm constantly running. Like even at nighttime, like I have a 7 hour mindset routine recording that I created. Like literally just talking about my goals, who I want to be, and I listen to it at nighttime. So my brain, I know my subconscious brain is working, so I always
Okay.
want my brain working because it's on. So I might as well use it to my advantage. And then when I wake up, I have a 3 hour uh, mindset routine with some of the stuff, but it's more the stuff that's catered to what I have to do in the day. So I'm preparing for that in the morning. But it's like I'm constantly doing this, but at the same time, while I'm listening to that, I'm working out, I'm meditating, doing yoga, but all while listening to that. So it's like a conglomeration of things going on, creating a certain feeling. And I base my progress and how I'm gonna get to my goal based on maintaining that feeling or that vibration that I feel.
And that works for you.
Does
Then go on and do whatever works for you.
and the most
For
interesting
this particular client, he was very, very anxious and he was having almost anxiety attacks and panic attacks. So
wow,
he needed to quiet his mind.
that's not for him. But it's
You know,
interesting how I totally agree with you. Like I know I agree with you. I know it's a truth for you because I feel like certain vibrations listening to like the conclusion of what you're saying. And at the same time, I know that I express a different love for myself. And it's almost the opposite way, but it's got to be like two sides of the same coin because I feel you're right and I'm right. And that
yes,
is always interesting to me. Like,
because I
yes.
think that is because we are uniques. And I had a discussion with, I'm in a mastermind group with different coaches. And this discussion about, yes, but there are so many coaches out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I always say, so what?
Hey,
Because it's only on you.
I love that.
Because,
Exactly.
for example, what I said about my client, it wouldn't work for you. But whoever is like my client would work for them.
Exactly.
You
That
know,
is
it
so
doesn't have, we don't have to be like parrots to say the same thing, like all of us. And
right.
even if we say the same thing, it doesn't have to be the same vibration. It doesn't have to be the same modality. It doesn't have to be the same tonality. It doesn't have to be the same. Possibly 80% of the words that I spoke are the ones that you're using, but the message is transmitted in a different way because it's me. I'm unique, as they say.
Wow.
So they say, just go out there, do the live, do whatever you want to do. Let people hear you. Let people know you, to get to know you, and don't be fake. Don't pretend because the pretend is going to catch up with you. And after that, you lose yourself. And you know what that is? Identity issues. You have no idea who the hell you are.
Yep.
What am I looking for? I heard coaches was like, oh, I reached this plateau. I don't know where I'm going. I said, okay, what did you do until you got there? Who did you copy? What did you try to pretend to be?
Yep.
And after that, of course, you reach there, my love. Now, be honest, true to yourself, be authentic. I love the name Authentic Charm.
Yeah.
This is authentic charming.
It's it's starting to get to me. Like I feel like every interview I do, like
Fold something.
it ends up talking about authenticity. Even though I don't bring it up at all, somehow it all accumulates to you gotta be authentic.
Because a lot of people pretend, and I think it's not only because of the online world. Everybody is blaming social media. Social media is just a platform. We have to understand that. Social media is a platform where we get to know people, and I love social media because of that.
Hmm.
And if people know about my life, trust me, back home, all my street knows about my life. Was I judged back home? Of course I was. Why would I be on social media by other countries? I always say that. It's just that our world expanded because of social media.
Right.
So it's not only my town or my village or I don't know, Now expanded area. But it's the same thing. From my point of view, it's the same thing. We were judged when we didn't have phones. Don't tell me you were 5 or 6 or 7, nobody judged you. I doubt that. So why are we blaming social media? Yes, obviously there are other dangers there. We have to use it wisely. I'm not saying to be irresponsible or to share something that you're not ready to share. So I always say never share something. Do you know the difference between a wound and a scar? Scab and scar, I think, is in American is the scab.
Okay.
So don't share the wound. Share the scar because the scar means that the wound is already healed.
Right.
Yeah. When you share the wound, for example, um, if I was still depressed now, yeah, and I'm speaking about my depression, and somebody said something negative to me, I could go down. Like it could destroy me because I'm already depressed. It's very hard, but I'm showing up there because of my business, and everybody tells me to be visible and to be, real and to speak about yourself. But don't speak about your wounds. Speak about the scar. For me, depression is a scar. I've already healed it. A scar is there. It's just a line in the skin. You know, it's not open anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never understood. I feel like I used to attract people that have wounds, I would say, speaking from this terminology. And well, no, they had a scar, and then they would talk about their wounds. And I didn't understand how they're able to like do that without feeling a bit. Because in my mind back then, I was judging, and I was thinking, oh, well, that's not right. Something's not right, like with in life because that happened. And I didn't understand how they're okay to talk about certain things that happened from that it's a scar perspective. But now, like that,
They've already healed it.
yeah,
They've already healed it. But because you had those emotions, that wound that they were talking about might have triggered something in you. You
right,
might have had not a similar wound, but you might have had a wound that you didn't heal. So whenever you're triggered, go back and see where you're triggered.
yeah,
Like what is unresolved, because we all have unresolved issues. I have my own unresolved issues. We are not perfect. We are not, like all healed.
yeah.
No, let's be serious. Yeah. I have my own stuff as well. And sometimes I'm triggered, sometimes not. But I'm very aware what I talk about.
Yeah.
I always talk about the scars rather than the wounds.
Gotcha. It's funny because you're inspiring me to start sharing even more and open up more and be able to have a deeper reflection with my audience and who watches because I'm actually like you said, unresolved issues. Like I just had somebody message me that I went to high school and they said that how are you so positive? Because if you look at my profile, you'll just see like a bunch of just positive stuff like all day. And actually, like I'm going through a really, really rough time right now. But you wouldn't know that, and I'm not actually talking about it because it's a
That is
very
good
tough issue.
because that is your wound. You will talk about this when it's done, like in a few days, few weeks, few years.
And I was thinking about that actually. Like I'm literally waiting. I was like, I thought about this earlier when I was reflecting in the morning, and I was like, at this time, I'm gonna reveal what's going on with me right now. But right now, it's not the time. Like, it's time to continuously take action and stop thinking so much.
Yeah, because in case some people have conflicted issues of like, oh, I want to be authentic, but I'm not authentic. This authenticity means different things for different areas in our life. And you don't have to be, you know, the wheel of life, yeah? It's a coaching tool where you have the career, the health, and you measure from 0 to 10. Yeah, but just you don't have to be authentic in all that life. You are authentic in whatever you're sharing. That doesn't make you fake. And just because you have some problems, my son was sick. You think I was in a mood of having a life, or I don't know, not now, but you know, when he was sick, no, it doesn't mean if I went live, I'm not authentic, I'm not a good mom. Or, you know, that side of me, because we are of different parts, that part of me respecting the wound, my son being sick and me hurting as a mom, because I can't help it, what it is. But I was authentic in whatever I shared in the interview. Yeah? So that's okay. That is not being fake, and that is respecting yourself, respecting the healing period, respecting your emotions. We have to be respectful of these. People say like, don't get angry, don't do this, don't show this, but respect anger.
Yeah.
It shows that something is not right, and heal it. And I always say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And I added something with my coaching clients. I allow myself to feel anger, for example. I really allow myself to feel anger because we are taught to suppress these feelings. And I learned for therapy is not good. And then I say, I give you permission to feel the opposite of anger. I give you permission to accept the flow of money that could be coming from your business if you work this and this and that. I give myself permission to receive love. I didn't know for years to receive love. I was giving because I have 2 divorces and I thought I didn't give enough love. So after my divorces, I just gave love to everybody, and I forgot to receive it. I thought I'm worthy because I didn't give it when I should. So why should I be worthy of love? So I gave myself permission to receive love. And things didn't change in 1 month, didn't change half a year, but they change. So time is relative. Don't be so stressed about time and enjoy the process. I learned how to cry because of therapy. I couldn't cry. My father's death, that was a bloody sign. I didn't cry. Can you imagine? My father dies and I don't cry. I've never cried for my father's death. 10 years later, I managed to cry. And I didn't realize, nobody realized I'm depressed. I have this postnatal depression. But now I'm allowing myself to cry. I'm allowing myself to be angry. And I'm angry maybe 5 minutes now because I learned how to accept it and to identify where it comes from and to heal that. And I always say, thank you for showing me this. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm a bitch. Thank you. I didn't want to swear. Sorry.
It's funny because I was going to earlier, but I slowed down because one of my guests was like, "I don't swear," so I was more conscious of it. I was like,
Sometimes I slip here and there. I was worse when I was on the construction side with the guys. Oh my God.
Yeah, I have a pretty bad mouth too.
You know, when you're in that environment, it's not because I had to behave like that. It's just that was the environment and it rubs on you. And after that, to become more feminine, because I was not a girly girl anymore. I've never been girly, but I was not girly at all. I had to take dance lessons because I was at a wedding and somebody invited me to dance. And I think it was like few seconds in the dance, it was like, oh, you are very controlling. And I was like, oh.
Oh, wow.
I said, excuse me, I'm not. I didn't see myself. But I was due to the work, the environment I was in. You're very concerning. I was like, I can't do that. So I came back to London and I enrolled for some like Shirok, no, something like that. I can't remember.
That's funny because I'm planning on taking dance lessons.
Trust the partner and all that, and I was like, I went there for about 6 months until, and I actually started trusting again. It's very, very funny how you can find tools and techniques to help yourself if you're open and to do something that you love. Because I could have gone to, I don't know, in therapy with this, but I felt like I have to do something fun. Therapy is not always fun.
Because everything I do to me is fun. Like having to go like going live every day, like that's fun. Waking up at 4 a.m. every day, that's fun. The past few days, I've been getting like 3-4 hours of sleep every day. Going to work.
Oh, I need my sleep.
Execute.
I need my sleep.
I know. A lot of people are like that, but it's fun.
I don't negotiate my sleep. Mm-mm.
That's good. That's good. I've been reflecting in that in my videos. I'm like, look, like I need to take care of my body. I can't treat my body like this. But to me, it's like I have not sitting. I haven't sat down, and it's probably a part of like what I'm going through right now. But I have not sat down in the past week. Like interview every day, a vlog every day, and I go live every day, and I work like 8 hour shifts, but I'm still doing full like business work, like right after work and before work. That's like 3 hours of personal development. That's like three different, completely different things, and they come together beautifully. And it's honestly, it's amazing. It's not for everybody, but
It's not for everybody. But if it works for you, go on and do your thing.
it's like go.
Go on and do your thing. Why not? Me,
Prepare.
I need my sleep. I'm listening because you said you listen to things. I'm listening to. I have two meditations that I listen to. One is 101 Positive Thoughts with Louise Hay,
Interesting.
and the one is Financial Meditation with Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to these two. I think it's more pretty much from the beginning of the year, like every single night, because it just can't. I was a little bit insomniac, and when my son is sick because he had a tumor in his throat, every time he has a throat problem, like coughing and all that, I'm paranoid. Like, let's get to the doctor. Let's see what happens there. But it's just because I remain with that fear. So I became a little bit insomniac, and this really calmed me down. But I noticed I improved the relationship with myself, and my money improved as well. So it works.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So yes.
You're definitely a beautiful person. Like it's just honestly like amazing. Like I've been very quiet, but I've just been like honestly in awe of like your story and like how you share it and how I feel when I receive like what you're saying. Honestly. So
Well,
I feel like I can
that's
talk to you for like hours, honestly.
legacy. I'm very passionate about it. And when you're passionate about something, as you say about waking up and doing this thing, for me, I had headache only listening to you. I'm just joking.
I'm sure everybody would, honestly. Like the amount of things I do in a day. Yeah.
When you're passionate about something and you respect your passion, but you respect your needs as well, you can't get wrong. You can't get it wrong. So you can stay and just share all this stuff with everybody, whoever is willing to listen. So thank you guys, whoever is listening. And about this, the one more thing I want to say, because I'm very, very proud and it's part of the legacy that I'm living. I'm a co-author on a book. It's called Notes to My Younger Self, Pay For series. It's volume 3 in the book, but I do share about my journey and how it's part of the healing process. I wrote a note to young, well, not so young, but young Adina when she was going to prepare herself for the depression and whatever was coming.
Wow.
It was a very therapeutic process, and I wrote this book this year. Not the chapter, sorry, not the whole book. I'm co-author. I wrote the chapter this year, and let me tell you, whatever I thought was healed, it just came back. I was so ready for that shit. It's always so. I learned something from this book. It's launching in March 2020 here in the UK.
That's
But
my.
I'm sure it's going to be on Amazon and all that.
I want that for my birthday gift.
Yes.
Like
And
that for
what
me.
I learned, and I tell this to everybody now, when you try to help somebody in a certain way that you went through, at one moment in time in the journey is going to hit you back because life wants to see if you still have the wound or is already a scar. So
Wow.
be prepared, guys. No matter how you help people, if you help people in a way that you went through something and you healed yourself and now you're helping other people, at
Yeah.
some point in time it's going to hit you hard. Be prepared. Life is testing you. And once you pass the test, everything will unfold. So if you were struggling to get clients, once you pass that test, you'll get the bloody clients.
And that's when
And
the conversation.
I did not expect it, even though the the lady who created the book kept warning us. We were like, yeah, 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 I know, we know. But each and every one of us was hit with whatever we were talking there. So I had such a funny situation where the anxiety came, some a disguised depression because I was aware it's not depression, but it was a disguised um, form of feelings similar to the depression to what I was going through, that despair and scary moments and terrifying moments. And I was like, oh, that's why you're coming because I wrote the book. But I'm not. I'm not scared anymore. So it was like 50 days, exactly those feelings. I was going to the tube because when I wanted to kill myself, I wanted to jump under the tube. And I remember I was traveling to clients and I had to go in the tube. And split seconds, I had the same, like I have to stay next to the wall because that was my way of not jumping. I was like, Adina, you don't move. You feel this wall, like you don't move. I didn't trust myself. You don't move. You stay stuck to the wall until the train is stopping. And I had those same instincts. And I was like, why are we having this? But yeah, I did pass the test.
Wow. Like there's so many things like that are resonating with me. Like I I feel like this conversation going for like 24 hours. Cause like
Oh, I guess it's like almost an hour. Bless.
yeah, but like the things you're saying just resonate so much with exactly what I've been experiencing in the past few months. It's really ridiculous. Like really, thank you for this amazing conversation. Amazing.
I also believe that people come in our life at a very divine time. So no matter what you're going through, if something that I said helps, we were supposed to have this interview because remember, I kept trying to fill in that form to schedule and all that.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have it, and today, possibly whatever I said, you were receptive to my message.
Specific time. That's
Last time, you wouldn't have heard the same way, or maybe the conversation would have gone in another part because I didn't prepare anything. I knew I want to speak about this because this is what I'm passionate about, but I didn't know what I'm going to disclose, what I'm going to say, how the words are going to come, the explanations. So that means somebody, you or somebody from your very beautiful audience, who I'm so blessed to meet, they were supposed to hear me like this. How I
Definitely.
talk today with my broken English and jumping from one thing to another.
Fine. Fine. Wow.
So yes, everything happens at the right time. I strongly believe that. Life taught me.
Definitely. Amazing. Honestly. And like it's crazy. Like I literally I had like we have I have plenty of things that I wanted to like talk about, and we literally I did literally didn't touch anything at all. We just got on the phone and literally just just killed it. Like honestly killed it. Um wow. All right. We're gonna pause.
Yes.
We're gonna pause. Okay. Okay. So that was an amazing interview.
Thank you.
Before we finish this amazing interview, and by the way, I just want to say this was the best interview so far.
Oh, thank you. I do appreciate.
The best
I
interview.
so appreciate.
You know, I honestly could have just didn't say anything, and I really did, but it was honestly the best, like best energy ever. Um, but with that, is there anything that you like to promote or tell people about before we finish it?
Well, people can find me on Facebook. I'm there sharing my stuff, my legacy. The book comes in March 2020. I have a course going out in the new year.
Beautiful.
It's a signature program creation, and I'm helping, in particular, coaches and therapists, because this is my background as well,
Mhm.
to create tools or to put the tools that they use to help themselves on paper and to go in the world and help other people. Because how can you help best than when you went through something? You have that empathy.
Yes,
It's not sympathy because people don't need sympathy.
exactly.
They need empathy. They just need to know that you understand them. You don't have to feel sorry about them. If my therapist was sorry about me when I was in therapy, I think it would be worse.
Yeah, at
You
fire.
know, but when you share your knowledge, you share your experience from an empathic point, you actually honor the other person, whatever they are going through. So this is what I'm teaching, and this is what the program is based on. And it's going to be beautiful. And I know whoever has to take that journey, because it's not an easy journey, but whoever takes that journey, I know they will come to me. And
Definitely.
I know we will create a wonderful, how to say, co-creation together. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, you're amazing. You're amazing, Adina. All right, you guys, I'm going to definitely tag her in this so you guys can click right on her profile. You don't have to do a lot of work. Send her requests.
Yes, if you have questions, if I said something that you need a little bit more explanation, because I have this tendency to go from one thing to another because it's so much to say,
Yeah,
and I'm always using my inspiration, but my mind is like you have to say this and that and that and that. So if there is something unclear or you want, I don't know, a little bit more clarity of, perhaps you see things how I see them, but you don't have maybe the same clarity, the same way other people have more clarity than me, and I go to them. The same way you can come to me, and I will do my best to shed some light there. Yeah. Any questions, anything, Abigail?
definitely.
And thank you so much for offering me this space, and honoring me with your presence and the audience and everything. So I really thank you.
It's a blessing.
Okay.
A blessing.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Adina.
Bye.